So I have a few scriptures. I want to mention that the Boule is sometimes called America's black upper class, and also known as the talented tenth. Now you had one member, Dave Chappelle. You also had a guy, Aaron McGruder. He was the creator of Boondocks, you know, and they basically bucked against the system because BET, the Boule runs BET. I think originally it was Bob Johnson, okay, who was a Kappa, okay, part of the Greek fraternity, the Kappa Alpha Psi.
Can I mention something? Like, can I mention something about Bob Johnson? He's also the first black so-called billionaire in America. Bob Johnson. Yeah, he's a black so-called male black billionaire.
Yeah. Well, if it was really for people, didn't he sell BET? Who owns it now? The Khazars? Yeah. Was it Viacom? Most likely it's Khazars. Yeah. Okay. So he's all about the, you know, but these are supposed to be the leaders of Israel. People like this. Okay. So let's you got 1 Corinthians.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 8:1. Now, as in touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all
select it. Hebrews 11:24.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24. But faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Yeah, so the scriptures say we're not supposed to make no league with Egypt. We're not supposed to make no league. We're not supposed to make no deal. We're not supposed to ally ourselves with the so-called white man. Okay?
Well, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughters, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing now, you know, because you got brothers who experienced that, you know, who saw that in school and whatnot, you know, who know about these organizations, but they know what all this stuff is against the scriptures, you know. All this is going away from Yahweh Shema was shot. That's the same thing. Moses. These are examples of our real leaders. Moses, okay, who was King David, okay. Moses, he could have lived. I mean, he was born rich, you know, had the best so-called education. He could have lived that life, so to speak, while his brothers and sisters were in slavery, you know, suffering under persecution, the water. But he chose not to. All right.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Yeah, and that's what these people do. You know, Bill Cosby, you know, Will Smith. What they show them? Living in Bel Air. They give them their own shows.
Yeah.
You know. That's the so-called. That's why we say so-called leaders. The so-called black upper class. The so-called talented tenth. These what's just trying to name some of these guys. Frederick Douglass and
Frederick Douglass was a tear.
Yeah, right. So
he was an Edomite anyway.
There's another poet, I think
Marcus Garvey.
No, him too. There was a poet from Harlem.
Langston Hughes?
Yeah, him. Yeah, he was, I believe, Omega. He was a Greek, so he was in the Boule. These were some of the first ones, early 1900s. So that's not an example. These people are not examples. You know, Bill Cosby, Langston Hughes, Will Smith. These are not examples of real leaders of Israel. Okay, Moses was a true leader of Israel.
Hey, can I say something, bro? You even got so-called Israelites out there, man, that's choosing to live in the pleasure of sin for a little season. You got Nate Satan telling you to get your college degree. You know, you got the king of the 2/3, Gehenna, talking about he's coming to save all black people, and that you should get black people together. You had Yoshi Wan, a.k.a. Scoop Bowl, all right, talking about this. I need my money. I need money. You know.
And also, it's not just the so-called Negro tribes. It's also, don't you know, they got their own societies for their members to come up in and play a certain part of society, certain function, whether it's be cooning or whatnot, for the Latin tribes too. Because we've seen that. We know at the schools they have the Boule is mainly, you know, Judah Benjamin Levi, because they got chapters down there in the West Indies also. But we know that they have these so-called societies for Latin tribes too. As well. I'm not familiar with the names, but we know they have the so-called Hispanic fraternities and sororities. Okay, George Lopez, Jennifer Lopez. You know, so these so-called Latina Israelites who also sold out to get a part in this society as well.
You got that bitch Sotomayor, the fucking
right
Supreme Court judge, man.
That's right.
All right, from the Bronx. Matter of fact, that's where she's from.
Yep. Yes, you know, and that's how she got up there, man. You know, taking part. We already know she was in part of some organization, some society, you know, who got her, you know, the position that she's in. She's an Israelite, but what? She's a wicked Israelite.
Sure.
Yep.
It's like, the nigga said, I'm tired of being broke. That's what he said. And you got your so-called pork chop eating pastors, T.D. Jakes, all right, Creflo Dollar. I'm sure that they in some type of high fraternity or masonry, all right, worshiping idols and witchcraft and sorceries. But he said, by faith, when Moses was come to years, refusing to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Yeah, you know, that's basically Moses said, fuck that, you know. I'm not going to be down with that, you know. But even these so-called Jakes who claim to be hood, which most of Jake is living in the ghetto, struggling to pay rent and whatnot. Most of Jakes don't have work, you know, his own food and all this. But you got even these Jakes in the so-called hip-hop world, which the Khazars run that, you know, but guess what? They sold out too. Your favorite rappers and favorite actors and athletes also sold out. Okay, 50 Cent, as we mentioned, Jay-Z, Nas, they're part of the Boule. Okay, and there's this P. Diddy, and what Jake, or what people will push is that, oh, this is a conspiracy. No, these are actual organizations, incorporated. You know, these people meet once a week. They meet every 2 weeks. They meet every month. They meet in New York. They meet in Atlanta, what they call chapters. So there's no conspiracy here. These are organized secret societies that we're talking about. You know, everyone can do their own research. You know.
That was
I got a quick scripture for you. This is Luke chapter 6, verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, woe, destruction unto you. You know, he's speaking to the Israelites. They destruction unto them because what? They've received their consolation. They're living. They chose this to be their kingdom. Okay, this is their consolation when they're able to live out there in Beverly Hills, in the Palisades in New Jersey, Miami Beach. You know, that's the consolation that they've received. We're talking about Israelites who sold out. Right?
Yeah, they basically sold out. Like all them people you mentioned, all them rap stars, all them celebrities, all them politicians, all right, judges, lawyers, doctors, and so forth. Like you said, the black upper class. How did they have to become the upper class, man? Here in this society, we're low people. Hey, the Lord considers us meek. All right, the Lord considers us poor in the Bible. All right, he's not supposed to be no black upper class. Upper class, that's Esau's kingdom, man. This is so-called white man's world, man. All right, but how do they have to make it become the black upper class, man? All right, to be accepted by these so-called white people, which you so-called white people are the biblical Edomites, man. All right, they had to sell out, man. And nowadays, selling out is more intense than just taking money under the table, man. Nowadays, they're doing homosexual acts, killing people, which basically sacrificing their brothers, man, their own people.
Yeah, say something, and the reason, as the brother said, is more intense because when you look it up, basically, at least they want to have some type of dirt on you. You know, when you sell out, that way they can basically so-called blackmail you,
keep you in check.
Yep. So if you decide, you know, oh, you know, I don't really want to be down with this, they got all type of dirt on you. You know, all the shit, the foul things you did to get